Hello. The purpose of this speech is to inform our audience about the history of the World Cup of soccer. The FIFA World Cup has actually grown to be the biggest athletic competition in the entire world since its tentative beginnings in Uruguay in the 1930s. What is now a competition that includes 32 countries began in the 1920s with the help of a group of French administrators led by the innovative Jules Rimet. The main idea was to bring together the world's strongest national football teams to compete for the title of world champions. All participating teams compete for a chance of holding the World Cup trophy, which is now today valued at over $10 million. Today's World Cup trophy is a product of Italian sculptor Silvio Gazzinaga, who has actually said that he's not a die-hard fan of football himself, but does watch the World Cup soccer final to see his trophy raised. The trophy cost was initially about $50,000 in 1971, but because of the rise of price in gold today, the trophy today is worth over $10 million according to the sportsmedia.com. The FIFA World Cup is actually watched by billions of people around the world. FIFA has actually estimated that an audience of over 37 billion people watched the World Cup of soccer at the 1998 France tournament, with 2.7 million people alone watched the matches live in the stadiums. The history of the sport has a diverse and deep beginning. The French might claim that they founded the FIFA Federation, but they didn't actually start the actual sport. According to soccertricks.org, a website I found on the internet, the very earliest form of the game for which there is scientific evidence of this is precisely an exercise of the skillful technique dating back to the 2nd and 3rd centuries BC in China. However, every continent has its own tale. For example, growing up in South America, I can remember tales of Inca Indians playing a similar game. But the sport is actually just not a localized event, as you can tell by the World Cup of today. The World Cup has actually grown to be a unifying event that is actually set to even stop wars. According to the WashingtonPost.com, there are actually certain tangible examples of soccer soothing the savage beasts of war. One of those is actually what the French and Germans do during the 1914 Christmas truce across the trenches during World War I. They actually played a game of soccer. The Germans winning the game 3-2, but eventually losing the war. But to conclude and finalize the speech, the FIFA World Cup has actually come to represent more than a competition that unifies the elite soccer players of the world. Like I said before, it actually represents the birth of a world culture embodying in those who play it, unifying them in a sport.